So about 2 months ago, I finally watched OG Dragon Ball, and not gonna lie, it's peak. I grew up in the Dragon Ball Z Kai era, so I never got to experience Dragon Ball when I was younger. In my opinion, OG Dragon Ball might not be better than Dragon Ball Z, but if you've already watched Dragon Ball Z, going back and watching Dragon Ball lets you see the development of a lot of things like the characters. Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Piccolo, Master Roshi, Bulma are all characters that are introduced from Dragon Ball. One thing I want to say before I actually get into the video is how Yamcha got hoed from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. At least Krillin and Tien still had screen time in DBZ and actually do something with it. Almost every time Yamcha appears on screen, he literally does nothing. In the Saiyan Saga, he dies to a Cyberman. Not gonna lie, he got snugged, but if you put Piccolo in that situation, that just doesn't happen. Anyways, I'll save that for another video. One of the things that makes Dragon Ball so enjoyable for me is seeing the reasons behind why something or someone appears in DBZ. If you haven't watched Dragon Ball, you wouldn't understand why characters like Yajirobe, Korin, Kami, Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, and even Piccolo are regulars in DBZ. Like, even the Room of Time and Space, also known as the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, is actually introduced in Dragon Ball. But if you haven't watched it, you wouldn't know that. Senzu beans, a large part of DBZ, are also introduced in Dragon Ball. As I said, going back and watching Dragon Ball after watching DBZ gives you context for some of the things that aren't explained. The next thing I want to talk about that made me fall in love with the anime are the arcs. A lot of the arcs in Dragon Ball are gas. Every tournament arc was a great watch, especially the 22nd and 23rd World Tournaments. Those arcs definitely have the most iconic moments in them. Another one of my favorite arcs was the King Piccolo arc. The way the arc was set up really was wild. I'm not going to say too much since I'm not trying to spoil, but if you haven't already watched it, go watch it. This leads me to my next point, the fights. The fights in Dragon Ball are fire. In my opinion, almost every main fight is a hit. My favorites though come from the World Tournaments. Tien versus Jackie Chun, Goku versus Krillin, Goku versus Tien, Goku versus Piccolo, and Goku versus Piccolo Jr. All of these fights felt unique from the usual DBZ fights that I'm so used to. The fights were mainly hands and showed the more martial arts aspects of Dragon Ball, especially Goku versus Krillin. That fight was straight cinema. Before I end this video, there's one thing I want to talk about, and that's how freaky Dragon Ball is at times. Even if you've never fully watched Dragon Ball, you'll know the questionable moments it has, especially with Bulma. For the first like 30 episodes, it's just Bulma doing freaky stuff. I'm not gonna lie, every time it happened, I started to heat up because I literally only wanted to see boxing. It definitely calms down as the anime progresses, but it still happens every once in a while. If you remove that aspect from Dragon Ball, the anime would be even better to me. But nonetheless, Dragon Ball is still a great anime and a good watch for any fan of Dragon Ball Z. If you don't want to spend your time watching over 100 episodes, reading the manga would be way better. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I know this is a short one, but I just want to say thank you guys for the recent support on the videos. It's been 2 weeks since I last uploaded, but I'm finally back, and I hope to get back to the weekly uploads. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.